to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello everyone and welcome to the final round of this season of RaceSpot TV Friday Primetime. We're going to go skip Barber racing action once again, this time at the Silverstone National Circuit as our 12th round. I am Connery Maddock. I'm joined by Ryan Walker as ever for the broadcast here this evening. We're here. We've arrived, Ryan. This is the final round of the season. And if we look at those official point standings here, which we haven't really talked about throughout this season, Simon Edwards currently only holds an 81 point advantage over Sasha Gole. So that one could potentially change, once this race is done, since this is basically the strength of field race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's everything to play for, and like you say, Simon Edwards is in the lead in the championship, but he's not really. He can't afford to be too comfortable with that gap because the strength of field races, you get big points. And if Sasha Gole has a good race this evening and scores well, he could overhaul Edwards possibly.
Yeah, both of them are signed up to this race. We've already had all the times come through in terms of the qualifying session. There is how they look coming into the start of the final round. It's Christian Perez, pole position at the moment, with Cristobal Otero on that front row as well. Sasha Gole, well, he's done what he needs to do here in qualifying, a couple positions ahead of Simon Edwards. But look at all those times. The top 6 cars separated by just 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, this series is so really close. It's been close for most of the season, and yeah, like you mentioned, Connery, in qualifying, these times are real close. So I think tonight with these long straights as well, the slipstream could come into effect.
Yep, they could, and well, we're just waiting for that qualifying session to just tick down and away. I don't think anyone is out there on circuit, although I'll take that back since number 18 of Eric Lamoureux is out there on track right now, but he has used all the laps that you get here for qualifying. You get 2 hot laps. Lamoureux, he's on his 3rd. Maybe he's just getting some last-ditch practice in before we go racing.
Yep, and yeah, that's 6, and that he's coming through right now. I think if you can get a good run onto this back straight as well, that there could be some moves being made into this final couple of corners possibly.
Yeah, of course we are using the national circuit here, so also the shortened layout compared to the GP circuit. As you can see, Lamoureux heading his way through the left field section at the moment, just looking for the exit of the corner on towards the pit straight down towards Woodcote, which is basically the old pit straight here. As he heads his way through there. Of course, he's not going to be able to improve on his qualifying position just for the moment, so he'll just have to settle for a top 10 starting position at the moment. But with that, we are basically set to get ourselves gridded for the final round of the season here on RaceSpot TV Friday Prime Time. We get that session switched over, and this is your full starting grid. It looks like this. Christian Perez pole position, Cristobal Otero in on that front row as well. Sasha Gole and Borja Zazo will make up row number 2 Simon Edwards and Enzo Valerino bring things down to P6, with Anthony Cat P7 and with Gerardo Ramos in P8. Zevi Sola in P number 9 with Eric Lamoureux, 10th place start for him. Dennis Johansson starts 11th with Oscar Pujas there in P12. Sander van der Velde in P13 with Johan Lorigateri in P14. 15th on the grid goes to Davis Milan, and you've also got Julian Toro in P number 16. Alexis Vico starts 17th, Gustavo Conde 18th, Manuel Lucetta in P number 19, and Nathan Brito will round out your 20-car grid here today. Drivers already taking themselves to the starting grid. Of course, it's going to be only that short run down towards the first corner before you'll see some fantastic battling here today. You got the track conditions up on screen. 19 degrees. Pretty chilly as far as track conditions go here in iRacing. Out there on circuit at the moment, winds are very, very calm, so they won't affect things really much at all coming into this. Very quickly here, Ryan, what are your expectations?
This final race of the season, final strength of field race for the season, I should say, I think it's going to be absolutely mayhem.
Mayhem. Mayhem might be the order of the day. We'll just have to wait and see. You can see a car that's yet to take its grid spot right towards the back of the field. We are a minimum of 10 seconds away from going green flag racing here at the Silverstone National Circuit. They're all preparing, they're all revving, and now they are all racing. Christian Perez a little slow to get away from pole position. He will be challenged by P number 2 of Otero in towards the first corner. Otero with the inside line trying to get this race lead away early. There's third place closing in on them. Sasha Gore looks to shoot the gap through the middle on the way down in towards the Maggots and Beckett section here. Gore up into P number 2. He looks for the race lead as well. A bit of a snap for Perez as they now take that cut through that this short layout gives here, the national circuit. Gore now in the race lead, but Perez is hounding him all the way here. Craziness on this race start for 20 laps of racing action, and now they try and find the brakes here in towards the left-hander, and Christian Perez just about able to hold on to the race lead, but there's so much scrapping even further back as they head through that field.
Yeah, it was a good start by Sasha Gore. He went from P3 to P1 in a short matter of time, but he's back down to P2. But just behind is championship contender Simon Edwards, who's up in P4. So, yeah, Sasha and Simon have to be careful when they think of the long game.
That is a lap complete of the Silverstone National Circuit into Copse once again. A lot of two-wide action going on at the back of the field at the moment. And even further forwards as well, you still have those battles jostling for position. Perez still holding on at the moment, but this time Sasha Gore tries to find the inside. Coming off of Beckett, and down the club straight they will go. Gore tucked in line. And now can he get this move set for Brooklands? Looks like he's forced Perez to go defensive early on here coming down the straight. Gore having to do it the long way around, but if he's able to hold the outside here at Brooklands, he has the inside for Luffield. Is he able to do it? Looks like he is going to grab that inside for the right-hander, but will he be able to lead this race coming cross start finish?
He's up the inside on the exit of the last corner, and as they come up across the line to complete the second lap, it looks like Gore is just in front.
It's about half a car length between them on the way down the pit straight here into Copse once again. Perez having to struggle with the longer way around, but he carries so much momentum, maybe even a little bit too much as he goes slightly off the circuit. 2x2 behind as well. Otero and Zazo are also having a scrap in and amongst themselves, and I'm pretty sure they also want to get involved for the race lead as well. We're right on board with Simon Edwards, your championship leader at the moment. He has an absolute swarm of cars ahead of him.
Yeah, we've seen this from Simon for most of the season so far. He doesn't seem to qualify well, but in the race he just goes about his business and gets through the field slowly as the race goes on. But he's sitting in P5 at the moment. That's not where he wants to be if he wants to try and take this championship, as his championship rival Sasa is just a few cars in front of him.
Yeah, a few cars in front of him, but it's never that simple, especially with the cars going too wide directly ahead of your championship leader. They'll go side by side again across the start-finish line. These guys have been battling wheel to wheel for the entirety of the lap here, and it doesn't look like any of these drivers want to give up at this stage. Again, a very wide line being taken by Perez that time. Gaulet had a bit of a snap on the inside as well. There's nothing to separate them into Maggots, into Beckett, and there's surely only so much time they can do this before they have an accident, Ryan.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well. But these guys are so bunched up together, but these guys scrapping amongst themselves, it's allowing the pack behind to close on them and bunch up. But yeah, these guys, I think it's the final race of the season, and at this point, it's gloves off.
It is. Perez, bit of a better run that time into Brooklands, but Gaulet is just keeping his car in all of the annoying places as far as Perez is concerned right now. It looks like they've got another entire lap side by side. This is just absolutely crazy stuff between the all leading couple of cars at the moment. We might even see an instance of 3 wide in towards Cop's corner. That's not exactly ideal. Zazo trying to find the inside, but not going to stick his nose in any further. He might still have a chance to get involved on the way into Maggots and Beckett's here, but he's not being given a lane here. It's almost like these guys are sort of NASCAR super speedway racing at the moment rather than a road course.
Yeah, as they come through this section at the moment, and yeah, Sasagol still in the lead just, but yeah, down the straight. Oh, I thought there was going to be a bit of contact between Golan and Perez.
There was almost. And they're always teasing at the prospect as well. How close can these guys run before they make a little bit of contact? It's basically 6 cars all side by side with each other at the front of the field at the moment. I've never seen anything like this. They go another lap without being single file. This is just absolutely crazy. And, you know, if this continues for the entirety of the 20 laps that we have to run here, I'm not sure if I'll have a voice by the end.
Yeah, as they come across the line, heading to turn 1 again, and Ball is still in the lead, but I'm just looking throughout this field, and I think this is the closest it's been this season so far, and if they keep this up for 20 laps and they're still close, then yeah, I'll be happy to watch this.
19 cars covered by 4.5 seconds, the top 14 of which are covered by 2. That is absolutely insane. As you almost your race leaders, they almost get into a little bit of a tangle. It's caused a little bit of separation a little bit further behind them, and now they all just try and draft off each other. Multiple instances of 2 wide, maybe even an instance of 3 wide as well. That's Ramos in the middle in that yellow car, actually pushes Sola slightly wide coming on the exit of Brooklands. But at this moment in time, anyone inside this top 12 cars can actually win this race.
Yeah, it's amazing how close these guys are, getting without making any contact. It's unbelievable. They're even just about touching wheels at times as they come down into turn 1, and it'll still be Sasagol in the lead into turn 1 as Perez and Gol get sight.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. Zazo, he's sort of being boxed in at the moment. He has cars basically on all sides of him at the moment, and it's kind of being a bit tricky situation for him to be in. Finally gets a little bit of wiggle room to work with, but he's really a driver that really wants to shoot down the middle here, instead towards the left, and now down to the middle he goes. We'll see 3 wide into Brooklands for the race lead. These guys have run 2 wide into here on many occasions, but can they make 3 work? It almost ended in tears as they return to their 2x2 stance.
Yeah, they were about 3 wide there, and yeah, I thought it was going to end up in an incident, but they managed to survive it. As amazingly,
That's
Perez and Gol are still. Yeah, absolutely. Perez and Gol are still side by side. Amazingly.
You can just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of cars just all going wheel to wheel into Cop's corner. That's absolutely crazy. Thanks, Mr. Paul Smith, who's currently behind the scenes, bringing you all the great views of this action. as it just keeps on going and going and going. It's always been Perez and Gole at the front of the field at the moment, at least with the exception of that first 1.5 laps. And now it's Zazo. You know, he's been in the thick of things here. Again, trying to look to make it 3 wide into Brooklands, but he's not going to have enough space to do it this time around. Surely someone in this pack is going to crack.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was just about to say something similar, that at some point something is going to have to give if these guys are still getting close together without making any contact, because I'm just watching from my point of view and they're just inches away from each other, and if it isn't a wreck or a crash at some point, I should say rather, I'll be amazed.
We'll just have to wait and see. We've gone almost half the race, and now it starts to happen. Ryan, you might have cursed them as Christian Perez pushes very, very wide and has to get that car slowed down, it seems, to get back onto the racing line. So we have had one casualty from the front of the field. We'll have another casualty and more as they all scatter across the exit of Beckett. Zazo, one of the big instigators of that one. We'll see the replay up on screen. You can see Perez rejoining the circuit. He had a bit of a slowdown as well, so he just cycled all the way to the back. And then we see Zazo a bit hot into Beckett and gets that car, that back end slid all the way out. And I believe there was further contact behind with the car of Valerino going for a bit of a ride since he got quite a big tag from Edwards.
Yeah, just unfortunate contact with Edwards, and I was about to mention as well, Connery, Simon Edwards, one of the championship contenders, was involved in that incident, but luckily he's still managing to keep going up in P7.
Yeah, he's still going, but Sasha Gole, his championship contender, does lead this race now, so this might give that 80 or so point swing that Gole needs to perhaps take the championship. But of course, with all the drop weeks in effect, that we might, not know for sure until a couple of minutes after this session is done. But you can see a little bit of damage there to Simon Edwards on that front left. That's exactly where he made contact with Valerino. That punted him to the outside of the circuit, actually launched him towards the outside of the circuit, will probably be a better word. So Edwards is now going to be struggling with that. He also sees a car ahead just go very wide. That was Ramos taking an explorative line into Brooklands. I guess it's probably the nicest way I can say that, but these guys in the mid-pack doing it basically like the front of the field were doing for the first 9 laps of this event, just getting those sort of rows going.
Indeed, as they come up to turn 1, and Simon Edwards, I think he can't really afford to stay where he is at the moment. If he wants to try and take this championship or increase his chances of taking it, he has to try and gain some more positions. P6 at the moment. He might just take the championship, but at the moment it's still advantage. Oh, big crash behind.
Yeah, we see a couple of cars going for a spin. That's Zazo, that's Lamoureux also involved in that. We'll get to see the replay of what has happened. I think it was Laurie Gaderi that actually ran into the back of a couple of cars ahead, and we'll get to see it here. Oh, Lamoureux, just a car inside his rear end. That's not going to be the plan there for the Canadian. And he's come off pretty bad in terms of that one. Laurie Gaderi was the car that went straight into the back of him. He's only lost a front wing, so I'd rather lose a front wing than lose a bit of a rear suspension.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate incident for Lamoureux. He just got tagged from behind and then tagged another car while he was spinning and got right rear suspension damage. But yeah, as the yellow crane comes out as they right on board with Pajudas at the moment in P8. And I was just saying before that Simon Edwards needs to get a move on, otherwise it's as it stands, it could be championship advantage to Sasha.
It could be. Look at all this stacking up though inside of that mid-pack. It's basically a second train at the moment as your top 3 cars have broken away a little bit. Side by side between Otero and Johansson for that second spot, but Johansson will dip back in line. There's a big old move though for Pujadas here in that number 14 car, trying to get one over Anthony Cat in that number 7 car on the inside for Luffield. And There's not a lot that number 14 can do at the moment. He's also being threatened from behind by Alexis Vico in the 16. So being on the offensive, being on the defensive, pretty much simultaneously there. And that is what these mid-pack drivers are going to be used to.
And I'm just looking throughout the field as well and looking at the lifetime, and the person that's made the most progress through the field, if I'm correct, is Dennis Johansson up there in second place. So yeah, good drive from Dennis so far.
Yeah, he's up from 11th place on the starting grid to second. That is a gain of 9 places. Conde has got him a couple better, though, as he is in 5th place and he started in 18th. So he's really picked his way through the field here as well. He looks to try and gain one more over Ramos in this instance into the entry to the Brooklands corner, and Ramos carrying a lot more speed coming through there. Conde wasn't able to find the traction on the outside line to make anything happen out there, but maybe the focus for this guy is, at least over the next couple of laps, might have to be trying to bridge that gap to the leading 3 cars, because they've broken away, yes, but not by that much. They're still about 1.5 seconds ahead of P4.
Yeah, if they work together, they could possibly. I doubt they will work together, but if they did, they could possibly try and close the gap up to the top 3 in front of them. So it's still a long way to go in this race. I think we've got about 5 or 6 laps remaining. So, these guys are too busy fighting amongst themselves, so I doubt they'll be able to catch them.
Yeah, that does look to be the case, as these guys, again, wheel to wheel, down the club straight they go. We might even see battling inside of your leading pack as well. In fact, there's a bit of a lead change as well, as Dennis Johansson now leads this race just a handful of laps now before the end. It wasn't fought all that much, though, by Gorlet. He just sits back and looks to fight another day here, not wanting to have an extended battle at the front of the field just yet, because then they risk that second pack getting involved.
Is right on board with Dennis Johansson at the moment, but just behind him is Sasa Gall in second, and Sasa can't really afford to make any silly moves. I think all he has to do is just finish in the top 3, and he could possibly win this championship, all going well.
Yeah, look at this. Ramos and Conde, into the first sector. Conde struggling with the traction on that inside, but it seems like he's got a bit of a drive off, but not as good as what Ramos was able to manage. And you see Edwards as well, a driver that really needs to make up positions here to make his championship secure. Maybe he, now in the final stages of this race, decides to make some forward progress. He does go to the extreme outside, trying to find a bit of mid-corner speed here, but not going to really be in a position where he can challenge those drivers ahead. There's the battle for the race lead, though. Johansson versus Gorlet. Gorlet needs these points just as much as Edwards does as well to give himself the best chance at taking the overall championship at the end of things. So it's basically a championship that's being fought on 2 different fronts right now, Ryan.
Yeah, on the one hand, you've got Sasa Gall that has to basically try and go for it and try and win this race. But on the other hand, you've got Simon Edwards, who is leading the championship, but he can't afford to take any risks in case he gets taken out of this race, possibly. So there's a bit of a different strategies you could be using in this race if you're both those guys.
81 points was the difference coming into this, with 4 drop weeks being a factor. So we won't know for sure until we have the post-race show, but we'll see the 3 wide into Brooklands between Conde, Edwards, and Cat. And it looks like Edwards in the middle of things there and trying to find an inside for left field, but Conde won't give him the space to be able to sneak one down in there. Not that you would have been able to anyway, as Ramos still leading this train around. So it seems like this track, it plays host to some brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing, but for the car trying to get past, it's seemingly almost impossible right now, as Conde tries to prove me wrong down the inside at Cops, Very close. A lot of sliding going on for the number 12. He'll lose quite a bit of speed coming off the corner. Now that is the opportunity that Edwards needed to try and get past here. Can he do it on the brakes into Beckett? That's the question. He needs a good exit as well to be able to make this one work. If he can't, then it's Conde that has the drop from Ramos ahead.
This is fantastic racing between these guys, and yeah, like you say, Connor, these guys have been wheel to wheel for most of this race, and it was 3 wide.
Oh, everything's getting a little sketchy now as the laps tick down to 0 remaining. We've got 4 to go at the moment as Pujas there actually working his way through on Anthony Cat there, so he's lost the position. So has Simon Edwards as well. So the driver of the number 14 now starting to make the moves up through this train. Simon Edwards certainly hoping that he doesn't lose more positions here, and it looks like he'll be under threat by Vico around the outside at Copse Corner, so he's really can't afford to lose all of these positions and all of these points in the championship at the moment. And now into Magnussen Beckett once again. You can see that Pujas actually, well, I thought he almost lost control of the car there, but he seems to be okay. Edwards, though, we're running on board with him. You can see behind him, it's all getting a bit sketchy. And was there a few taps there from Julian Toro? It was very, very close to being contact.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was trying to do there, if he was trying to bump draft or not. I've heard stories about people trying to bump draft with the Skip Barber, and yeah, it's never ended well. So I wouldn't advise it with these guys. But Simon Edwards, he seems to be losing some time or some positions at the moment, and it's not what he needs at the moment.
It simply isn't. 2 laps to go in the final round of the season in the iRacing official Skip Barber Racing Series on Race Spot TV Friday prime time. We have a look at your leading trio. Dennis Johansson leads this. You've got Sasha Gorley, second in the championship, second in the race right now. And you've also got Cristobal Otero as an outsider looking in as well. He's been at the back of this train. He was one of those drivers that also got into the thick of things at the start of this race with that massive leading pack all scrapping for position. But it was a train of almost 12 cars, and now they are down to 3 for the final 2 laps. Johansson, he's going to work his way through the final couple of corners. He'll be leading this race coming across the line to take the start of the final lap. It'll get more scrapping inside that second pack, though. Vico and Kat were going side by side. Now it's Vico and Bajudas as they will come through Woodcote and then start the final lap for them. But I want to see the battle for the race lead, because Sasha Gorley down the inside at Copse Corner, massive amount of slip angle on that Skip Barber. He keeps it together. We might see 3 wide on the way into Magnussen Beckett. It's because now Otero looks to try to make an impact in this battle. They hit the brakes for Beckett. It's still Johansson leading this trio around, and now those 2 cars for P2 and P3 going side by side briefly off of Beckett. But here comes the slipstream on the way down the club straight, and just try to find that braking zone now in towards Brooklands. Johansson has to go defensive. He has no other choice here. Gorley trying the long way around here, tries to cut back in line. He just finds a slither of a gap there, tries to find the cut back through Lovefield. Gorley might be able to do this. It's going to be a flat out drag race all the way to the line. There's absolutely nothing to separate your leaders through Woodcote. Gorley or Johansson, who's it going to be across the start-finish line? It looks like it has been Dennis Johansson by 21 thousandths of a second that's won this race. That is incredible, and what a finish, a cherry on top of what was a delicious cake that this race was. Simon Edwards finishes in P8. We'll have to see if that is just enough to win the championship with Sasha Gorley's second place. But what an incredible race we just seen there, Ryan.
That was a fantastic race, and yeah, that battle for the win went on for basically the whole race. And unfortunately, there was some little incidents during the race, but we had a fantastic last lap battle for the win that went right down to the finish line.
What is it with these cars and insane final lap battles? That's the question. But what is not in question are these results. Dennis Johansson winning by 22-21, whatever, thousandths of a second. You see Cristobal Otero in P number 3 also had a big chance to win this race. Gerardo Ramos, best of the rest, leader of the second pack. Gustavo Conde in 5th place. You see Anthony Cat P6, Vico 7th, Edwards 8th, Judas in P9, and Toro in 10th. And then you look to the rear half of the fields. Lucetta, you have Milan, you have Van der Velde, you have Sola and Perez bringing things down to P15. Lorgatari P16, Lamoureux 17th, Zazo 18th, Valerino 19th, and Brito did not take the start. That's going to be all the racing that we have for this season in Race Spot TV Friday Primetime. But don't go away just yet, because we have the post-race show and we can name a champion just after this break.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was always fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos or danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all will be kept in the pits. Not to mention that with members in over 130 countries already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series and work your way up to one of 7 world championships, offering over $500,000 in prize money. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Race Sport TV Friday Primetime here on the iRacing Esports Network. No matter if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, we thank you for watching this particular broadcast and, well, watching the entire season, because that is us pretty much done in terms of this edition for Race Sport TV Friday Primetime. We've had all 12 races in the books in the Skip Barber race series, and we had perhaps one of the best races of the season to finish it off here at the Silverstone National Circuit. Just an incredible race, Ryan, and a great display of racecraft from everyone involved.
It was a fantastic race to watch this evening. The battle going on for the win for all the way throughout the race and going right down to the last lap and even onto the start finish line. So yeah, I've enjoyed commentating on this series this season. The racing throughout has been fantastic, and the racecraft, like you say, has been absolutely just dynamite.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy, and to have a finish at the very end where it was 21 thousandths of a second separating P1 and P2, we couldn't really have asked for a better end to the season. We are waiting on the official points to come through to decide whether Edwards or Gaulet are in the best position to be able to take this one. I don't think we've had those updated just yet, so maybe we'll just have to wait for just a little longer. But in terms of this entire season, Ryan, you know, we've had a couple of races like this which have been absolutely bombastic, and it feels like it was the majority of races at times, and it just goes to show how good the competition is here in this series, especially in the top split, and how much respect the drivers have for each other as well.
Yeah, the respect between the drivers, and yeah, the drivers race hard but fair and always give each other respect. And I think the driving standards this season in general, for the whole season, has been brilliant to watch. And it's just I think I'm looking forward to more of the same next season. I'm not sure if we'll be broadcasting this series again or not, but if we do, then I'll definitely interested in doing it again.
Well, considering that there's something called the Porsche GT4 coming, and that's going to be in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, we perhaps might be broadcasting that series for Race Sport TV Primetime next season. But don't take that from me. You'll hear more about everything during week 13, whether we'll be able to put up a poll for the next season or not. But you know, if it's anything like the season that we've just had, then I won't complain what cars we go racing with.
Yeah, I was about to say the GT4 car coming to iRacing as well. I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see what the participation's like, but I think it will be really good.
Yeah, I think it'll be incredible with the multi-class element of that as well, because you also have the TCR cars occupying the same circuit. But with that, I believe that is going to be all that we have time for here. Of course, those points haven't come through just quite yet, but we are on a bit of a strict time schedule, so we'll have to cut things short here. But thank you very much, everyone. I'm Connery Maddock. I've been joined by Ryan Walker throughout the majority of this season. Paul Smith behind the scenes, pushing all those buttons to make those cameras and graphics happen. Speaking of cameras, they are provided to us by Istvan Balo, trackcams22.com. If you want to grab the same cameras that we use here on Racesport TV broadcasts, they are absolutely brilliant indeed. But with that, we'll see you guys after week 13 for whatever series we're bringing you on Racesport Primetime.